Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. It's February 12th. I was going out here to the greenhouse to close things up. I thought I might just do a quick garden tour because there's so many things going on, and let's see what's happening. Being we're up here by the gate and the sun is getting low on the horizon, and it's going to be down to 33, what they say. Sometimes it gets colder here, but if it gets down to 30, it's not going to hurt anything out here in the garden. But we're going to start up here at the top. We've got our chives. You just look at them just growing. Since that last one, they're just really shooting up their tops. They're happy where they're at. We've got this Victory garden pretty much planted in here. We've got quite a few things. In fact, I don't even remember what we planted. There's so much out here. Right here, I know we've got about 4 little, and one of them was really tiny, but it's coming on. This fiddler kraut, which I wanted to save some seed, so I put this at the end of this bed so I can let 1 or 2 of these go to seed, and we'll harvest the others. But that's important to do that in your garden plans if you have enough room, and you want to collect your seeds instead of having to buy them all the time. This is a older variety, so you can collect seeds from it, and so that's what this is here. Now these over here, a lot of times I can tell by the leaves. Well, there is a tag. I just couldn't see it from that angle. This here is Savoy cabbage, and in my last video I said we're planning to plant green beans in this bed, and we've still got at least a month away, so a lot of this stuff will be out of here. If we don't get it out in time, we'll plant that the green beans in a different area. But that's what's right there. Now we have just a couple of broccoli here that's left that survived our bad freeze. We took the heads off. Now we're giving them time. They should be not far off from side shooting, and we'll harvest a little bit there. We have our Mitchahili cabbage. This is a really quick crop, and that was the last in this row except a few stray plants down there. Now right here, this looks like this is bok choy, which bok choy is a real fast grower, so it's not going to take long. It's going to be gone. This is one of the Savoy cabbages that had survived. We're going to let this one go ahead and grow up. But you see how we did this. We just left the plants there. We planted more plants around them. These will have plenty of room, and then we'll just harvest them out, but we'll let that other be allowed to grow. Now I was going to pick this. I'll pick it while I'm here. This broccoli wasn't going to seed. It wouldn't open up, but you can eat this. But let me tell you, when I throw this in the chicken coop, they're going to be happy. So we've got a couple more Savoy cabbages here that look like they might do good. This one may be a little bit on the slow side, but we'll see how it does. But we don't have anything else planted in here yet. Now we have a couple of cauliflower here, and this is just going to see if these are going to go ahead and make heads. We'll give them a chance. I know they're going to be slow because they got hit with that cold. And now the last of this row from that tag right there down to here is Mitchahili cabbage too. Now, you know, we talked about our peas. We put in this new row of peas, and you can see they're up and thriving. They'll take this cold just fine, and this will be our next crop. They're well on their way. Now we just got a few weeds popping up in these beds that we've got ready for our tomatoes to go in, so we'll just kind of keep that under control. Now over here we have, I'm trying to think if this was Lawsonata kale or not. Always got to look at the tag. No, this is Gypsy broccoli. This was our new batch because our freeze got the others. We're going to go ahead and grow this one on. And down here, we have early Jersey cabbage, which is doing great. Most of them survive. Now I do occasionally I'll lose a plant, whether it be to some type of a cutworm come in, ants come in, or something. There's a hole right there. I do plant these in here kind of tight, but I'm not looking for a giant head. We'll pick them when they're a good manageable size for family meal. Now our onions, you can see these red onions, they are happy. Even though the freeze got a lot of our 1015Y super sweet onions, and some of them are coming back from the bottom. They're a little bit slow, and some of them are recovering. But these red onions, when I talk about varieties, always pay attention to the varieties. Red onions are overlooked by a lot of gardeners. They always want white, or they're wanting the yellow onions. But the red onions are a whole lot healthier, and they do take the cold. Something about these red vegetables, I don't know what it is, but they seem to do good whenever it comes to cold. Now I did check my in here mixed months this thick, and I'm not going to thin these out. These look a lot thicker than they actually are, but they're slowly coming back after they got hit hard by that freeze. You can see that there's a few bare spots that it actually killed a bunch of these off, because these were really thick down in here, but they're starting to come back now. We go over here to our bed where we transplanted our strawberries in. These are taking root good. We're starting to get little strawberries forming. That's where they was blooming. There's a few in here that we had taken blooms off when we transplanted them, and they're starting to go again. So it won't be long we'll have strawberries. We'll look at the rest of our onions up here. Our little onions, here are the last ones we put out. They're doing fine, really great. The next to the latest crop here, they were younger, and I talk about how they withstand the freeze better, and they're still looking really healthy. Now we had some leak. These leeks are really tiny, and they sit in their cell trays way too long. Hopefully these will come on, and we planted them really thick, so we're going to harvest them as small leeks. Now over here, we've come in and we put some of our head lettuce, and as you can see, they're doing pretty good. We've got them down to right here. Our garlic, the elephant garlic here, this first row, it's doing wonderful. This next row here of our other two varieties and the end of this row are doing real well. Our onions over here, you can see they really got hit. We got a lot of rain afterwards, and what happens when our onions freeze and then they get a lot of rain, it takes and it kind of rots the bulb a lot of times. So a lot of these won't come back. It's going to be sparse on a lot of our onions, but we've still got a good bit of them here, and we're not going to try to replant in between here. I do have another batch of onions that I just started that's popping up inside. They've just started germinating, coming out of the ground, and we'll grow them. We'll see if they can make bulbs, to make bulbs, but mainly grow them for green onions. We do have like a stray garlic here and there because we had garlic in these beds before. We're going to go over here because, you know, it's cold, but this is when asparagus starts coming out. And we've got to come out here tomorrow, and we've got to cut some asparagus. I might pop a few of these off tonight just in case it gets real cold. It's going to freeze them back. Now, a few of these that are young, maybe they come up from seeds like this one here, we won't harvest. We'll let them go ahead and grow and let that root mature. We've got one more place of chive. You know, this was our chive bed. We had missed some. We'd taken them out, split them up, potted them up. But you can see our thyme. It's doing real well. It's getting root hold. Won't be long. Like I say, we'll take this one out and get, because we don't want chives in this bed no more, and the only way we're going to get rid of them is to dig them up. In our little greenhouse here, things are looking wonderful. Now we took, and this is our celery. These plants are small. They grow slow when they start out, so you normally got to start pretty early. You can see where we left this, where we didn't cut all the root out of this other and it's coming back. We're going to grow that, but we put these little bitty plants out in here in the middle, so we'll have a good row of celery there. Now our filter crop that's in here, it has been affected by some type of, look like little bitty worms or something that has been attacking the leaves. We come in here with some neem oil and sprayed these, so hopefully that should take care of it. This cilantro here, it's doing good and it's ready to go to the market. Over here on these rows, we rejuvenated them with some more compost, got them started back, and we've come in here and we planted this row here is red cabbage. We have some new deal that's coming on. Of course, our collards are doing good. We took off all the rough leaves off of here that were damaged by the earlier cold spell. And we got most of them, but we come back and got the last of them. Now this is looking good, and it's about ready to have some fresh collards. Now we do have part of this row left right here. It's red cabbage to there, and we've got to plant the rest of this. Now I do have another tray of red cabbage, and we'll probably finish it out on this row. We've got our next batch of cilantro. If you're going to succession plant, you got to plan. That one looks good. It's ready to harvest. By the time that one's going to want to go to seed that's in the little greenhouse, this one here's going to be ready to pick. So we're following through. Now we have taken out most of our cabbages. We have a few early Jerseys left. We left that little red cabbage. We have a good crop of little garlic coming in here. I mean, we have little garlics popping up all over. This is from, a lot of these are from nodules that was left from the elephant garlic whenever it was planted over here last year. And even if your cabbage is long and drooping over, it still grow on the side. It don't care. Our red cabbage is finally getting up a little bit close to size that we pick them. We pick them with smaller heads. And you can see the difference in the size of these. Now we had come back in here where we'd lost some, and we planted some more in here so we can just keep harvesting this through, and we can interplant with other things as we go. Now we're working on rejuvenating these beds. They're in pretty good shape, but we don't know how much we're going to what we're going to grow here, so we want to make sure they're in good shape. We've still got a little bit of weeding here. I know the plans for this year, I talked about roselle in this row and this row, and so it'll be a little bit before we start planting those. We did add a few more of these Titan blueberries. Their buds are swelling. Won't be long. They'll be shooting out their leaves, getting ready to flower. This is a mid-season one. I just kept thinking about blueberries. It's the size of a quarter, and I said I had to have a few more, so I picked up some more. We're going to go ahead and finish out this row here with the other blueberries that we have. We've got things uncovered, and of course we've got a lot of grass down. Well, I say grass. We've got chickweed and such down here. So this is going to have to be cleaned out. I don't think that our pineapple has survived. We really probably should have used a little bit of heat, but we did not cover these quick enough, and so they got damaged. So we've still got these few rows down here that we've got to clean up, and we'll get to that. We have been getting some rain. We left the wheelbarrow out. This is not the ideal way to do your tools if they're going to last. Not even your ones that might have fiberglass handles or something. The sun doesn't like them, but we've got kind of busy with some other projects and just hadn't come down here. I think it's best if I just take the time and get these tools out of that wet space. But yeah, we've got a lot of empty beds, but springtime's coming, and with springtime coming, you've definitely got to do some planning. It's supposed to get cold tonight. I don't know why I left this faucet on, but what I'm going to do is take this hose loose. It's not going to get cold enough to really freeze, but in case something happens, we're not going to end up freezing my faucet there. We'll go around here in the greenhouse. Our chamomile is doing real good. Last time we talked about, we cleaned up our echinacea, our purple coneflower. You can see now they're coming back from the root, and they're doing good, and all this chamomile here is doing good. And boy, just wouldn't you like to have some fresh asparagus. In the greenhouse, we've got things covered up. Our bananas did survive the really cold spell. They're starting to grow and active again, so we should get bananas this year, which we were really, really hoping. Up here where I planted some carrots, they're just now starting to germinate. So they're going to come back. I thought I was going to have to replant those. Over here, this is our next crop of spinach. It's just really doing great. Now in here, this is where we just planted our beets. And you can see, of course, it's not real bright, but you can see we've got little beets coming up all in there. And then down here's our golden beets. And it's the same thing as our red beets. They're just really doing good coming on. I can't wait until it warms up a little bit more and I can get all these row protection out of here. It's kind of a dread having to cover and uncover, cover and uncover. But if you're going to have a garden, you're going to grow it in the wintertime, you're going to have to do some kind of protection. Unless you're in an area that is just wonderful climate all the time. In here, we've got our radishes. Now we did plant these thinner, and we're starting to get germination. This should be great as far as not having them as thick. Now there are still some that's going to come up. We've got our filter crop in here. It's doing much better than the other. I did come in here and treat this too in case I had the same kind of thing. I did have a few holes in it, but just a little spinosad and neem oil and castile soap, and that took care of it. Now, our bok choy. Our bok choy isn't looking pretty. Some of it might make into a good plant there, but most of it's going to be chicken food because that warm, that cold stressed it and everything, and it made most of it's going to go to seed. But like I say, that's never a problem for me because chickens like it. This cilantro in here, not quite harvest size, but it is doing good. Our muscadine mix, we've been picking this kind of regular for salads. It's really tasty because the variety of greens with the lettuce, the endives, kale, mustard, all those different things. It really makes a salad with a lot of different flavors. Over here we have our parsley. We're going to start some new. This has been here for quite a while. I know it's not going to be that long. It's going to want to produce seeds, especially when it starts warming up here a little later. And parsley does grow a little bit slow at first, and so we want to get that next batch started. Our mushrooms, every time it warms up and gets cold, they just aren't putting on like they need to. It's almost to say that it's might have to have maybe some kind of cover put over it to keep it where it's more humid condition. All these chives that we've taken out now, these were the first batch that we took out of that bed when we moved everything up. These were the ones that come back, which you can tell they're a little bit smaller, but they were really yellow. I said they'll green up, and you can see how nicely they're greening up. Now we do have some plants in here that's semi-covered. None of these will have a problem taking this cold weather. So, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of move the roll cover so it's not going to be uncovered there. Right here are some of our flowers. These are snapdragons. We went ahead and potted them up. Me and my granddaughter took care of that. They'll take cold weather too. They like it. But anyway, that's a quick tour. I hope your garden is doing well. And I hope those of you that's up north and it's too cold that you're staying warm. And if you can't plant, at least you can enjoy seeing some of the other gardens and how they're doing. Thanks for watching. If you want to subscribe, you know what to do. And give her a big thumbs up. Enjoy that gardening experience. Oh, and one more thing. Tomorrow we're going to be starting our sweet potatoes so we can grow our slips. Don't miss that video. If you want to grow sweet potatoes, that's the one to watch. See you tomorrow.